Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to be ranking these heroes based on how fun it was to get their holiday skin. And also, I'm going to try to optimize for time because I think the ones that take a long time, although they might kind of be rewarding, are generally a pain in the ass. Abrams kill 5 enemies with melee last hits. A little bit unnatural. I wouldn't say it's a normal playstyle. It's a slightly unnatural playstyle because if you're always going for melee last hits, that means you're probably going to have to shoulder dash only to secure the kill. Like 5 enemies is not a low amount of enemies. Why? Because why? Well, good players, or I mean, I think as a general thing that players will be very parry heavy for those melee last hits. So unless you're very good at the melee metagame of Abrams, I don't think that this is the super standard way of playing. It's not too crazy. Let's see how long it took me. So Abrams, it took me 5 games, which I would say is pretty reasonable, and I would say that's just an average holiday skin experience. So yeah, next we got Bebop. Reach 100 bomb stacks. Okay, so Bebop, the main tip I would give for this is to get hooks that are guaranteed. What I'm saying is go for 80% hooks, like 80% chance you're going to hit this hook rather than just hooking every time it's off cooldown. That was my problem. I don't know how to play Bebop, but this challenge actually taught me a lot about how to play it. And I didn't remember it as being too hard. Let's see what the Deadlock stats have to say. Okay, so it took me 10 games. I would say, yeah, it's slightly difficult if you don't know how to play Bebop. If you do know how to play Bebop, or you have at least some experience playing Bebop, it is pretty easy. I think you should get this in any match that goes over 30-40 minutes. So yeah, it's a very natural way of playing. Obviously, getting bomb stacks is nothing crazy. Like it's what you're supposed to do as Bebop. So for that reason, I'm gonna put it in average. Right? I think most players who've tried Bebop will have no problem with this. Dynamo, suck 3+ enemies with a singularity. So you're not gonna have an opportunity to do this every game, but I think you're gonna have multiple opportunities to do it most games. You know what I'm saying? Like any big walker fight contest, any mid or patron fight. Yeah, I mean, it's generally a natural thing for Dynamo players to want to get. And if you're not too good at Dynamo, I mean, you do have to learn how to play the character. But yeah, you don't have to play unnaturally. It is not too hard, in my opinion. Let's see. So it only took me 2 games. So I got in my second game as Dynamo. Wow, I remember it taking at least a little bit longer. Yeah, let's put it in fun or not too hard. I'm gonna put it in fun. So Great Talon, deal 850+ spirit damage at once to 1 or more players 5 times. I don't know, this just seemed really inconsistent, and it is pretty hard to build up all that spirit damage. I don't really have any tips. You just kind of have to learn how to play Great Talon and hit your arrows, and you're really only gonna start building up these, I guess, the count of 850+ spirit damage events kind of late in the match. So I'm gonna put this in pain in the ass, I think. Let's see how long it took me. It took me 8 games. Yeah, that's definitely pain in the ass territory. So that's where I'm gonna put it. Okay, so kill streak of 7 enemies as Haze. Okay, so this is very straightforward. I think it's also very dumb. I don't think that this is a great challenge. Like, clearly not much thought went into this other than Haze go kill. Nothing to do with Haze's abilities or skill set. I guess she's good at killing people, but so is like most of the roster, right? So yeah, I didn't really enjoy it, although I wouldn't say it's not that I would say it's not that hard as long as you're playing in a lobby where, I mean, kill streak of 7, like in a normal lobby at your elo, I would say it's actually pretty hard to do. It's not, unless you're just running away every time you see someone that's not like 10 health. You are gonna die normally in a Deadlock game before you kill 7 people. Yeah, if you're extremely good at Haze, or if you're playing in a lobby that is slightly worse than you, I don't think it's hard at all. But let's see. I mean, I can't check how many tries I did because I'm a Haze main, so I do think it is, let's just say it's average, right? I think if you're good at Haze, it will only take, I don't remember it taking more than 3 for me, but if you're not, then I can see it being a little bit difficult. So Infernus, hit 3+ enemies at once, and I've actually started playing Infernus since this match happened where I got it. So yeah, this is going to be a little difficult. Infernus is really fun though. I think this is not an unnatural way to play the game, to try to hit people with your ult. You just do it at the same times that Dynamo would do it, right? And it's pretty much the same thing that I said for Dynamo, just when the enemy's clumped up, which should happen at least a couple or 3 or 4 times every game that you're able to have an opportunity to do it, you should be able to get it. So I'm gonna put it once again in average. I think it probably took me around 3 or 4 games to get it. So yeah. IV. Okay, IVs is a little bit of a pain in the ass. Hit 6 enemies at once. All of these are kind of hard. The ones that you have to hit everybody on the enemy team. It does say that McGinnis's turns count. So if you have a McGinnis, maybe you can cheese it. Let's see how long it took. Yeah, 9 games. That is a little bit of pain in the ass territory. I will say it's easier than some of these other 6-player challenges where you have to hit 6 players, because Ivy at least has the benefit of her ult letting you fly around. So anytime you see there's a team fight, if you're dropping that bomb, it is yeah, it's a good opportunity. I think you will get it naturally. If you're a good Ivy player, you probably get this easily too. So do I put it in average or pain in the ass? I would say for most players, unless you play Ivy, it is a pain in the ass, because Ivy is not the easiest hero to pick up either. She is pretty fun, but I would say, yeah, pain in the ass. Okay, moving on. Kelvin, capture 2+ allies and 2+ enemies. Okay, so this is kind of just an RNG one. I mean, the problem is you can't just hit 3 enemies. You also have to get allies in your ball too. So it is kind of weird for that. And you have to get 4 people, including yourself. So 5 people in an ult. So yeah, you are gonna have to play unnaturally. Let's be clear. It's not gonna be average. It's gonna be pain in the ass or suffering. So let's see how long it took me. It took me 6 games. So not as bad as I thought, but definitely not as fun as you would expect playing Kelvin. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be pain in the ass for me. So maybe slightly better than Ivy, because you don't have to get 6. But the 2 enemy and 2 ally requirement, like, it might be kind of trolling to play this way, and it is even more unnatural than Ivy. So yeah, I would put it in pain in the ass. You're not gonna get this playing the game just to win or to play well. You are gonna have to do some weird shenanigans to get this. So I put it in pain in the ass. It's not quite suffering level though. Lady Geist. Okay, this is immediate fun. I remember clearly I got on my first game, and I think if you get a good ult as Lady Geist, that's pretty fun. So we're putting it fun. It took me 1 game. I think it'll take most people 1 game. Easier to do early game when the health values are straight up lower, so you're not getting bursted down as quickly, but very natural. So yeah, let's put it in fun. Lash. Oh, Lash is going to be 4+ total players with Death Slam, and this one is a pain in the ass for sure, because, well, it may seem, I mean, I think if you're a Lash player, you probably get a 1st or 2nd game, or if you're good at Lash, let's put that precondition. But Lash, man, I feel like it's just super easy to dodge his ult in normal gameplay, unless they're all in front of your walker. But in general, unless it's a mid steal or mid fight and you're not dying immediately, or a patron fight and you're not dying immediately, yeah, you need 4. And Lash's ult does just like go instantly. You have to look at everybody. I see Lash players hitting a lot of these ults. If you're good at Lash, it shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, let's put in pain in the ass. It's definitely pain in the ass, or even suffering territory. Let's see how long it took me. Yeah, it took me 21 games. Oh, that's one of the most. That's more than I thought. Yeah, let's put in suffering. Okay, let's put it in suffering. I do think Lash is pretty hard. If you're good at Lash, maybe not, but for me, it was really hard. And in general, his kit is not easy to learn. So if you haven't tried it at all and you're just doing it now, good luck, buddy. Good luck. McGinnis's destroy 9 structures. I would say it's fun or not too hard. I mean, it is a little hard because it requires you to be winning the game. Let's just say that. And that's only 50% of games. Or at least have it go to extreme late game where both teams are trading well. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's guaranteed in your 1st or 2nd game, but definitely something that's not too hard. And yeah, I mean, because it doesn't require to really use an ability anyway, all you have to do is another tip here. You just need to get the assist on the tower when it says destroy 9 structures. You don't have to be the last hit on that tower or have your name show up in the kill feed. So if you're there for the assist or the kill, but as long as you're playing McGinnis normally, I think you will get it. It's just sometimes, I guess, it's not guaranteed. Okay, Mo and Krill use the combo ability to get a kill or assist on each player on the enemy team. Basically, ult everybody and get a kill while doing so, or an assist. Not very clear on this one. I think the assist part is very confusing. Like, do you have to be ulting them while they get killed, or can you just get the assist, which doesn't necessarily mean you ulted them? I think someone said that as long as you're getting stacks on your ult, that means it counted, like the player counted towards the 6 count, but it is extremely hard, and it sounds a lot easier than it is. Getting all 6 players on the enemy team, I mean, you're not going to be fighting all 6 players in a normal match unless you're playing kind of unnaturally. And yeah, you're going to be prioritizing certain heroes to ult. Like some heroes or some situations, like you don't want to be ulting a hero. But in this game, you have to get the skin, you have to play really weirdly to kind of fulfill its requirement. Because yeah, you're not going to be ulting ones that you've already ulted. You only have so many chances to ult someone a game, maybe like 1 or 2. So especially for a kill, right? So there's so many conditions on the kills, and it's like every player on the enemy team, it's very hard. So I put it in suffering. And even though it took me more games as Lash, apparently, it's definitely harder. So Mow and Krill probably the worst. And if it's your last day, I mean, if it's your last skin, go for it. But you might not get it, man. You might not get it. Paradox, kill 3 enemies while you're airborne. I thought this was really hard. It's actually not too hard because you actually learn something about the game. So this, I might consider putting it fun just because it taught me something about the game, which I think these skins were meant to do. Is meant to get players to try heroes that they're not too comfortable with. Let's see how many games it took me. 4 games. A huge tip is that I don't think the kit really describes to you unless you read the description very carefully. But when you are mid-air as Paradox and you have your carbine out, I think that's your 3, I think. So if you have the carbine, you have that slowing shot on, right? As long as you aim while you're in mid-air, you will like pause in mid-air. Like you'll be stuck in midair. So that is huge. And I think the carbine is the easiest way to get it. You don't have to get it with the carbine. You can do it with anything apparently, but I think a carbine is just super no-brainer. It's like kind of like a Vindicta sniper shot. Pretty straightforward. And as long as that tech that you can jump and aim to freeze in midair, a lot easier to get kills with the carbine. Your ult can also do it. I think your ult is also kind of a natural way to do it. As long as you're ulting people for their last hit. But yeah, that way is a little harder. So I'd say yeah. Paradox, fun. Okay, let's go next. Pocket, hit 4+ enemies at once with Affliction. I think this is just playing naturally. You do have to learn Pocket. Pocket's not the easiest to learn if you haven't played him before. Let's see how many games it took. I know that it took me 4 games. So really, not pain in the ass territory. Definitely average. Okay. 7, kill an enemy with Storm Cloud's Thunderbolt. Yeah, I am a 7 player. Like I played 7 most of my first. This is my first character that I played. This is definitely maybe even worse than Mow and Krill because their ult's active ability is designed so poorly if you're trying to get a last hit with it. If it was just hit the ultimate ability, yeah, it would probably shoot this up to not too hard. But the fact that you have to kill someone with it, the thing is you're going to be killing a lot of people with your ult straight up. When people see your ult, they run out of it. So it's really hard to predict where they will go. Unless you have a duo queue who is willing to Mow and Krill ult them so they literally stay in one place. Even then it's hard because I got this. I'm not afraid to admit it. Like I got this after probably like 10 or 15 games playing in a lobby where there are a lot of DCs. So the team just decided to play for skins, and that's what we did. And it still took me 2 tries to get it. Like I fucked up even on an AFK enemy. That's how hard it is because your ult is going to kill them. And the active takes 3 seconds to proc, and it doesn't do a lot of damage. So it's very hard to time correctly based on how much health. I think getting this accidentally is honestly easier than getting it on purpose. Maybe if you just cast it in a team fight, it will kill someone. I think there's a greater chance of that, just like the RNG numbers and people being bad. But really, it's a storm, and I don't pun is accidental, but it's a storm of just being a extremely hard situation in every possible way, and not going to happen in natural gameplay unless it's just completely random to the point where yes, this is actually more hard than Mow and Krill's holiday skin. Okay, Vindicta, this is fun. I mean, come on, kill 2 enemies in the same use of flight. You should get this pretty naturally. Just snipe people who are low, and this happens almost every game that this situation happens. I guess you do have to be winning the game. If you're losing if you're getting stomped, it's not going to happen. But you don't have to kill them with your ult. You can kill them with anything as long as you are flying and participating in team fights. This should happen pretty naturally. It is not super easy. It's not trivial. I'm gonna put it in not too hard. Put it in not too hard because if you don't know Vindicta, if you don't know how to play her at all, then I could see it being kind of a little bit harder. Okay, Warden. Let's see. Warden is damage every enemy player. Okay, all these ones where you have to touch every enemy player. In this case, with Binding Word, so his like hook thing that comes from the sky. Everyone where you have to do these at least once, you have to play extremely unnaturally because like I said, you're not going to be fighting every character in the game normally in every game, right? You might be damaging them in a team fight, but you're probably not going to be 1v1ing them every game unless you're roaming like crazy. So this is going to be a tough one. I do think it's suffering, but is it worse than 7s? Is it worse than Mow and Krill's? Let's see how many games it took me. Took me like 10 games because I played West Warden before. Oh, I don't know, man. It's definitely pain in the ass, at least, if not suffering. Yeah, I'm just going to put in suffering because, yeah, these 6 ones are suffering and it's a little better. It's a little better than lashes, I think. It might be harder than lashes, to be honest. Yeah, a little harder than lashes is what I would say. A little easier than Moe and Krills because all you have to do is hit them with ability. You don't have to like get a kill on them or anything like that with it. All right, moving on. Wraiths. Wraiths is fun. You just play normally as Wraith, and then in a team fight at late game, you just keep throwing your card and shooting them, and you'll get it. Or you can cheese it even. Like you can get your first game as long as you follow some Reddit guide. I think it's very easy. I ended up just getting it naturally playing Wraith, and that was pretty fun. Okay, so Yamato. Yamato is kill 2 enemies with 1 shadow transformation. Once again, I would say this is fun. You should be able to do this normally in every game unless you're losing. Maybe it's in a not too hard territory. Because, yeah, it does take some effort to learn Yamato if you haven't played her. And let's see how many games it took. Where is Yamato? I don't see her. Yeah, it took me 4 games. So, yeah, it's definitely not too hard territory. You do have to kind of have things go your way, I guess. If you're good at Yamato, this should happen almost every game. Yeah, easier than McGinnis. Harder than Vindicta. Yeah, that's fair. I guess I played more Vindicta before. Your mileage might vary. Viscous. Hit 3 enemies with 1 use of Goo Ball. It took me 5 games, and I would say this is because I'm bad. I think pretty much every team fight you'll have the opportunity to hit 3 enemies with 1 use of Goo Ball. Maybe if the enemies are extremely good, or if you're in an extremely high elo, this might be harder. I don't know. But for most use cases, the thing is, it does take a little bit getting used to the ult if you haven't used it before. But yeah, Viscous is fun. This should happen pretty much every team fight. You should be able to hit 3 because, yeah, Viscous ult goes forever. All you need to do is hit them. You don't need to kill them or anything. So it's definitely fun. Yeah, definitely fun. And I would put it, so if, let me organize the fun. So Wraith is probably the easiest. Geist is second easiest, although for me, Geist was easier than, it doesn't really matter. Viscous, I would say is easier than Dynamo, but I mean, all these easy and fun are kind of a Venn diagram that's just one circle for me, right? They have a lot of overlaps. So, yeah, I think this makes sense. Okay, so Shiv, kill 3 enemies with Killing Blow. This is, oh my god, this is so easy that I'm not sure if it's easier than Geist. It might be easier than Geist. It is harder than Wraith, but yeah, there's ult is literally made to kill people. Shiv is an extremely fun character, in my opinion. I mean, take it at what you will, but Shiv is fun, and ulting people is literally, the point of his ult is to kill people. You'll get this easily. Let me just check how many games it took. It took me 2 games, so I got this my second game of playing Shiv. It's not going to be hard for you at all, so go ahead and go for it. You should get this very easily. Mirage. Okay, my last one, Mirage. Let's see. Mirage is going to be, I think, fun because it is easy. I don't find playing Mirage that fun, but I think I got this my first or second game. Yeah, I got it my second game, and I guess it's a little bit confusing for one thing. Like, do you have to manually activate your, what is it called? The Jin's Mark, I think. I don't think you have to manually activate it. You just need to get 3 kills. That's a little bit harder than Shiv's for sure, but you should get this normally playing the game, and I'm going to put it at harder than Lady Geist, but definitely easier than almost everybody else. Okay, so what do we have here? Let me see if there's anything I can change. Kelvin, maybe. Let's see how long it took me with Kelvin again. 6 games. I think it's easier than Ivy's slightly. It's around the same. Suffering, Lash, Warden, Moe, and Krill, 7. Yeah, 7's definitely the worst. Everything else is about right to me. I think this is what we're going to end up with. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you can get that holiday skin. Yeah, you have 1 more day left to do it. So yeah, best of luck, man. All right, that's going to be it for this video. Hope it helped.